Elon Musk, the man who, despite my own personal best attempts, is just a guy that I unfortunately cannot, and that we collectively should not, ignore.
The overall goal of my companies is to maximize the future of civilization.
Dude is gonna be doing terrible stuff whether we pay attention or not, so it's probably worth keeping an eye on the guy, but this whole attitude that we seem to collectively have of looking at Elon Musk as the world's biggest loser, a guy whose self-esteem is so fragile that he seems desperate to be viewed as cool by everybody, no matter how much it's clear they don't care for him or are using him.
I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark, gothic MAGA.
Well, it's important to remember that it wasn't always that way. In fact, for quite some time there, as hard as it might be to believe, the popular opinion of Elon Musk was one that viewed him as a genius, as someone exploring the frontiers of human innovation like space, electric vehicles, robotics, and brain chips.
Hey, did you know that you and Steve Jobs are on the front of Draper University?
I know that might seem like some kind of collective pre-COVID hallucination, but it was true. And I think that we can see that reality being true in the most evident fashion when it comes to Elon Musk's portrayals through popular media, through the frankly quite extensive cameo appearances that he made over a very strong 10-year period. That's right, I'm going to talk about all the times Elon Musk popped up in TV shows and movies and game? We'll see on that last one. But I do want to do it in chronological order, because I think that through that we can sort of see the both overt propaganda and aggressively masturbatory characterization of Elon Musk, and also that shine falling off over time. So let's just get into it, starting with his first appearance in Iron Man 2 and ending with his last in Saturday Night Live. And that very first one is actually super fundamental to seeing the birth of the cameo version of Elon Musk, and the way that it represents an interpretation of the man at that time period, 2010's Iron Man 2. See, while in the midst of having some serious personal and corporate drama, Tony Stark goes to Monaco to compete in the Monaco Grand Prix for some fucking reason. Look, the man was allowed to get away with whatever he wanted to do because of all the money he had, you see.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
And before he does that, he goes into this big fancy hotel that is hosting a whole load of rich and famous people in a city renowned for being full of wealthy and famous people. I mean, the correlation between the people in these frames and those on the Epstein Island lists would be pretty much almost two overlapping circles, if you get my drift.
How was your flight?
It was excellent. Boy, it's nice to see you.
We have one photographer from the ACM,
Cheers.
if you don't mind.
And who else would you expect to find here than, of course, Elon Musk, famed rich person and guy who likes to use his money to show off to those around him, and also buy hair if he can. We all know that he did it.
There weren't very many people on the internet. And certainly nobody was making any money at all.
The movie takes this appearance by Musk, though, as also a chance to emphasize the familiarity between Stark and Musk. A little bit of back and forth, and then Musk telling Stark that he has an idea for an electric jet, remembering that this was the big thing he was really famous for at this time 16 years ago.
Those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
And Stark responds with a little bit of impressed, "Oh, well, if you have the idea, then we'll make it work," because of how smart Musk is and how reliable all of his ideas are, you see. And that's it. It's a small and simple scene in the grand scheme of things for sure, but it already tells us three really important takeaways about both the man and the myth that the world wanted to believe around him. One, Elon Musk can't act for shit.
Mr. Musk, how are you?
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you very much.
Not to dog a guy who's already fallen quite far and attack him for something unrelated to everything wrong he has done, but at the end of the day, if you appear in a piece of media and can't perform, then I don't know why the fuck they didn't cut it out, because it's wooden as hell and makes everyone else seems stranger around him by how much Elon is pretending to look like an actor. 2. Elon Musk is smart. He's intelligent. He's equivalent to Tony Stark in this regard.
Good idea for an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
A peer to a man who invented a magical suit in a cave and then created a bunch of magical suits, and who uses inventions to eventually go toe-to-toe with gods and aliens and monsters. Tony Stark's genius is being used to influence our perception of Elon Musk as a genius by how Stark holds him and his ideas in high regard. I mean, this is a character who has generally been dismissive and arrogant as hell with everyone else. And the fact that this is the dude whose idea he hears and goes, "We've gotta do that," tells you something.
You want my property? You can't have it.
I have successfully privatized world peace.
3. The darlingness of it all. Despite his own failed attempt at playing it right as an actor, Elon Musk is presented here as genial and suave and all fancy-like.
Promotion.
Thank you very much.
Elon,
Thank you.
those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Buying into this public image that was wanted to be presented by both his PR team presumably, but also wanted to be lapped up by people who found themselves impressed by Musk's capability to invest in the right companies, and use his dad's Emerald Mine money to profit off of other people's inventions. And so wanted to create this larger-than-life cool figure that they could look up to.
Elon, what kind of crazy dream would persuade you to think of trying to take on the auto industry and build an all-electric car?
I mean, this was back in the early heydays of Silicon Valley, when it felt like it was the cutting edge of the tech world, and frankly, Musk's other competitors for being the face of that to people were not exactly a huge amount better. Compared to Zuckerberg and Gates, Elon Musk might as well have been the James Bond supermodel for people to get obsessed with and fan out over. But that's just how it started. That was the clear initial momentum here to what we were sort of meant to think about Elon Musk. One time does not create a pattern though. It does not represent too much as an example, which brings us to 2013. When Elon Musk would cameo once again in Machete Kills and Transcendence.
He was trained to kill. FBI, DEA, all roll up in the war.
Yeah, some of these cameos are a bit strange. Fair's fair here though. You might not have noticed Elon Musk in Machete Kills, as that film was stacked with famous people to a degree that reading the cast list seems like a fever dream of people shoved together. I don't know what kind of blackmail Robert Rodriguez has on people, but the fact that he got together Amber Heard, Lady Gaga, Vanessa Hudgens, Walton Goggins, Jessica Alba, Mel Gibson, Charlie Sheen, Cuba Gooding Jr., Antonio Banderas, and Tom fucking Savini for some bloody reason.
The very best the great state of Texas has to offer. Osiris. Amanpour.
Is some serious power play. Anyways, I'm not gonna try to explain the plot of this film because we just don't have the time for all of that. Trust me, it is as overwhelming as its cast list, and instead, let's just talk about how Elon Musk gets introduced to it for the brief time he gets on screen, which is via Charlie Sheen's character, the President of the United States, Jesus Christ, asking Machete to go up in a SpaceX rocket at the end of the film because the villain of the film, Voz, played by Mel Gibson, has gone there after Machete stopped all of his nukes that he was going to use to restart society over while waiting it out in space.
You can't beat me, you know. I know your every move.
Now, there is actually a little bit of an interesting thing here with this pre-cameo set up. Specifically, that the villain of the film Voz is based in a humorous way on a caricature of Elon Musk, something that came about after Robert Rodriguez met him at a party, which then led to Rodriguez touring a SpaceX facility courtesy of the billionaire.
Hi, welcome to SpaceX. Here we are in the lobby. It's very white right now.
Now, obviously Rodriguez doesn't mention what kind of party it was, so let's just hope and cross our fingers here that it wasn't one of those billionaire parties, but clearly there was some friendly relationship between the two, enough that Rodriguez felt inclined to not only make his villain an evil Elon Musk, although Knowing what we now know, it's more accurate to probably say that he made his villain a regular Elon Musk.
Thank you.
But also getting Elon Musk to appear as himself. This cuts both ways, of course, as Robert gets to have the scientific genius wunderkind that the media is going crazy over pop up in his film, and in return, Elon Musk gets a healthy dose of advertising for his latest venture, that of the space stuff. See, he isn't just about electric vehicles anymore, he's also pushing another envelope of human development into the future. Like, literally, the Charlie Sheen president calls the SpaceX rocket top of the line. They are really being kind to Elon Musk with that.
The SpaceX rocket, top of the line. You go up into space.
Which we all know he does love it when people are kissing his ass. Elon Musk's entire thing is just turning up at the rocket launch for some reason and shaking Machete's hand, reading 2 lines, and then watching him as he walks onto the ship.
Good luck, Machete. Get the bastard.
It's not too complex a thing to do, a relatively easy scene, and you know what that means. Elon Musk absolutely fucking bombs it. Dude reads those 2 lines like he has no idea how to say words in a natural sounding way, and he looks around like he is absolutely befuddled by the idea of being on a set and the cameras around him.
Obviously also very open.
You are not hiring Elon Musk to cameo for his talent. I think we can say that much for certain by this point. But to wallow a little bit before I get to my real point here, he also does just look weird as hell in this scene. I don't know if it's some airbrushing or the makeup, but something is just not right. And compared to how he looked in Iron Man 2 3 years earlier, it's a drastic change.
For an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
It's like he lost 10 years, which I do hear the Photoshop can do to you, if not the billions of dollars. On to my point though, this whole thing is just more of emphasizing Elon Musk's role as this badass tech guy, who's here to cheer Machete on, and gives him access to his rockets to save the goddamn USA, because of how much of a hero Elon Musk is. It's all part of building that mythology we mentioned, the Elon Musk fable that he both wants people to buy into and that a lot of people are also ready to believe about their billionaires.
Are we willing to sacrifice the future for the present?
Yeah.
Machete Kills provides us some emphasis, and it also gives us a bit of a pointer for the new direction of Elon Musk that we're going to see. That focus on the space thing, and saving the human race through exploration into the stars. Trust me, much like the acting, you are gonna be sick of that version of Elon Musk by the end of this. On then towards Transcendence, and this is one that actually didn't release until 2014, but I'm gonna count it here because it represents the same thing. Elon Musk gets a minor role, but one that illustrates his importance in the field of technology and connects him in the popular culture to it, as this film is about AI, and follows a team of scientists trying to get this AI which will save the world to work before anti-tech terrorists destroy it. To which Elon Musk turns up in the audience of a little tech seminar talking about the future of that AI.
But while some focus on the still distant dream of a thinking computer.
Yeah, I know, we really are ticking all of the boxes that he became known for, that he rode towards success and stardom before that all crashed and burned. Electric vehicles, space, AI, crafting the future of humanity as designed by this fucking pampered rich investor with rich parents. Thankfully, this film is smarter than previous ones seen here, and doesn't actually give the man any time to say something, instead just focusing intently on him while Paul Bettany speaks, really zooming in and centering this one guy amidst all the crowd.
Is to use my colleague's accidental insights.
He does act a little better here. I get what he's going for, it doesn't look completely out of place, but the purpose at the end of the day is for you in the audience to have an, oh shit, look, it's Elon Musk. this must be a legit thing because that guy is really smart and he's gracing it with his time. Maybe this is going to be part of his big plan for how humanity's going to survive and all that. Like I keep saying, we're in the building the foundation right now for the idolization of Musk, crafting the building blocks to get the general populace to naturally associate him with the world of tech and become accustomed to him appearing like that in both real life and in the movies. Sure, all 3 of the films he has been in were shit films that didn't do great and were not well received, but when you are cameoing, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're there and present and getting FaceTime and attention. It's social capital, baby. It's the grease that lubricates the subconscious mind of the audience, and I have no doubt that Elon Musk either knows that or is rich enough to hire smart people who do know that. Those are the building blocks that bring us to the big ones, with admittedly a small scattering of smaller ones too. A big ones that starts in 2015 with the infamous Simpsons episode, The Musk Who Fell to Earth.
No, it's that I don't talk to anyone unless they provide the mental stimulation I seek.
Ditto.
Now, this is not just a cameo. It is a whole goddamn episode built around the guy and designed to feature him in a major way. So I will do my best here to be succinct and get us the details that we need. First, the plot.
Go ahead, boy.
Now, there's a bunch of random crap around a bald eagle that goes on for about 10% of the episode before we actually get introduced to Elon Musk, something which does tell me that The Simpsons has completely lost any idea of how to do plot pacing, or that they just didn't have enough Elon Musk stuff to constitute a whole episode. Either one of which isn't great. He is finally dropped on us though via the very interesting narrative device of him literally being dropped onto The Simpsons, his spaceship landing in their backyard for frankly no fucking reason at all, except for needing to introduce Elon Musk as the guest and his current brand push being all about their spaceships. We get a lot of glazing in these initial bits. Homer saying how they're about to meet a being with greater intelligence than them. Lisa calling him the greatest living inventor. It's all fucking hilarious considering how he is perceived these days. But back then, that was indeed the prevailing status quo opinion on him by the masses, or encouraged by the media for the masses. Lisa's perspective was pretty much what you would expect to see from any of their liberal elite magazines doing a piece on Elon Musk.
He changed the way Hollywood drives. He's taking your Homerisms and turning them into his own great ideas.
Simpsons is not, and has not been for quite some time, a show that pushes against the mold of public opinion. And I think Elon Musk's inclusion like this kinda just represents that. Also, to answer the big question that I'm sure everyone has, yes, he just cannot voice act for the life of him. It's fucking awful stuff, and it makes me appreciate the non-speaking role we had earlier so much more. But yeah, this episode is really full of Lisa talking up all the accomplishments of Elon Musk. Are you getting the sense of how heavily his PR team had their greasy little hands in this one? And that leads to Homer inviting Elon Musk to come to the nuclear plant, putting him on a crash course to meet and get into conflict with Springfield's resident evil billionaire, Mr. Burns.
You know who that is? The man who's revolutionized the car industry.
Henry Ford.
Yeah, this is kind of gonna be like wrestling here for a second, in that it's turning into a battle of the billionaires. And The Simpsons is using Mr. Burns as the evil capitalist example to improve the visual of Elon Musk as the good capitalist example. Something which is just obviously straight up not true. Seriously, they have Elon talk about not needing money when Burns tries to hire him to turn his nuclear plant into a hydroelectric one. It's revealed that Springfield is losing a ton of money, and Musk was using Burns to try and save the Earth through changing things around the town. Burns then retaliates by firing a ton of his employees and trying to assassinate Musk, which leads to Musk saving Homer when the bullet instead goes towards him rather than Musk.
sweet Colombian exposition.
Before Homer then tells Musk that he has to leave, because his ideas are stirring the town up too much and causing hardships. It's a difficult watch, from a narrative perspective, from an acting perspective, and from a perspective that knows all of this is about adding layers to the fable of Musk's genius that he really wanted people to believe and praise him over. It's also interesting to note that yet again, this was a poorly received thing, and it makes you realise that Elon Musk has not been in anything good so far. Like, sure, the dude is getting these big cameos in movies and shows, but they're awfully received. Something which isn't entirely his doing, though he does have a significantly larger part and portion of blame when it comes to The Simpsons. I also want to take this moment here, because the glazing of Musk in The Simpsons is the most aggressive it's gonna get in this journey that we are on, and talk about the fact that while what was being said about Elon Musk was indeed the prevailing attitude amongst a lot of people at that time, I mean, heck, I can recount no end of moments where I had to push back on friends and family around me who said kind things in the style of what The Simpsons had to say about the man.
I just wanted to see if there was a better life, even for a little bit.
Because it was provably wrong even at that time. By 2015, we knew that Elon Musk was at best a lucky investor who used an aura of mystique and propaganda to craft an image around himself that was not reflective of the reality. A reality which is that he was a very deeply weird man who was a nightmare to work with, who didn't actually invent much of anything, and who treated the people in his life and his workplace in incredibly weird ways that revealed his internal sociopathic and narcissistic view on the rest of the world.
People should get off the goddamn moral high horse with the work from home bullshit. The laptop class is living in La La Land, okay?
Seriously, aside from all of the articles talking about his businesses, a great example of this is the words that he said to his first wife on their wedding day, when he told her he was the alpha in the relationship. And yeah, that should have been a clear sign of who we were dealing with. But let's save a deeper thought about that for the end of this whole thing, because we've still got a bit to go. Our next entry is another in the big hits of TV series appearances, with The Big Bang Theory in 2015, same year as The Simpsons, on the episode The Platonic Permutation. Now, thankfully they didn't make the same mistake of putting Elon Musk front and center for 20 minutes. We've seen that the man cannot pull that off for the life of him, but he does still get a decent amount of screen time in this cameo.
There you go.
Screen time that he uses to prove that the years have gone by, but that same awkward and terrible actor from 2010's Iron Man 2 has just not improved at all. Yet again though, we do hit those same beats too that we keep getting fed on Elon Musk. The guy is doing something honourable or noble or designed to make him seem relatable and nice, in this case washing dishes at a homeless shelter and surprising Howard while doing it, who does the freak out thing that Lisa did where he loses his mind at the fact that he's in the same room as this absolute star of the thing he likes, space. Elon even has a little joke about how he was too generous with the gravy on the turkey line, so they moved him.
But I got demoted for being too generous with the gravy.
Something which is so funny. Play the clip about Elon Musk screwing over his workers and hoarding wealth.
Management never really cared. All they care about is hitting numbers and doing whatever they can to please Elon.
Yeah, I don't know why we kept trying to hammer home this idea of Elon Musk as a benevolent guy who gives it all away, just because he gave away a few inventions as public information. The dude is one of the richest men on the planet, and got there through not giving stuff away when he could afford to do so, using the goodwill generated from PR stunts like those to hide all the shady crap that he was doing. PR stunts like the Big Bang Theory here, which yet again focuses on talking up Elon's achievements with Tesla and SpaceX, as Howard shows off his own achievements to Elon, such as having been to space for months and having an MIT engineer master's, and desperately wanting the man to adopt him because of how cool he is. God, it is cringe to see fan worship, but nothing beats faux nerd fan worship. Like, those achievements are cooler than most of Elon Musk's. The dude has never been to space, despite how much he talks about it and wants to put people on the moon or Mars and jokes about being God Emperor of it. He's never gotten a master's in anything. The closest he has is a Bachelor of Science in Physics and a Bachelor of Arts in fucking Economics from Wharton. So, like, technically, Howard is more qualified on all of the stuff Elon touts about his engineering capabilities than the man himself.
I'm such a fan of Tesla and SpaceX.
But that's the mythology, right? That despite that lack of qualifications or education in it, Elon is this natural genius, a Leonardo da Vinci for our times because of how he's become a billionaire. So that must prove something, right? It's a story with no real basis in evidence, but it just feels right because otherwise the whole system is broken. All those things he gets exalted for, and things that he bought into after the proprietary tech in them had been created already, and how he hires world-class engineers to make his ideas become a reality, even when those ideas are fucking stupid and need serious pushback to even get close to working. Looking at you, boring company in your dumbass tunnel.
Elon Musk's initial idea was incredibly ambitious, transported into this huge network of tunnels using its autonomous features.
And also the Tesla that he designed.
Franz, could you try to break this glass, please?
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe that was a little too hard.
Sorry, I said I would save this for when we had seen all of the entries, but it is infuriating to see how much this man got hyped up by media. Also, let me just hammer it home one more time here. Elon Musk is one of the worst actors that I have ever seen, and I watch trash TV regularly.
Well, you're here on Thanksgiving, so you're probably a good person.
Oh.
You think you might ever get back out to space?
There are cameos where it's clear the person is just cameoing, but also manages to make it seem like it's semi-natural, or doesn't interfere too much with the scene, and Elon Musk is provably not capable of that. Okay, we're halfway through the list and like 4,000 words deep at this point. Let's get on to the next one. Now, before we continue the big TV series spree that Elon was on at this time, we have a slight dip back into the film world with Why Him?, a rom-com starring James Franco, Bryan Cranston, and Zoe Deutsch that was perfectly bad.
The Flemings are in the house! Yes!
Oh my god. I mean, what do we expect from Elon Musk's Cameo team at this point? They just cannot get him on any quality things because it's clear he only wants to appear to get hyped up, and that's sort of it. Well, in Why Him?, Elon Musk gets introduced because of his connection to James Franco's Silicon Valley CEO character. At a party hosted by that guy, Bryan Cranston's character runs into Elon Musk, who interjects upon hearing that the character is from Michigan by inquiring if that means he's in the car business, because, you know, Detroit Motor City and all that. And also, Elon has 3 character traits at this point, and there ain't much entry for him to get in with space or general tech and AI here, so cars it's gotta be.
Where are you from, boss?
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. You're in the car business?
No.
Bryan Cranston's character is impressed to find out that he is talking to the Elon Musk, as you should expect by this point. Elon Musk does some terrible acting, and that's it.
Yeah. Tesla Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
It's a small, tiny slice of the same goddamn shit we have seen over and over and over again. So, let's get back to the TV series stuff, with the final of the big 3 at this time that Elon managed to sneak his way into, with South Park's Members Only, Not Funny, and the end of serialization as we know it. Yeah, that is indeed 3 different episodes in one season back in 2016. I know, but don't worry, South Park is smart enough to not make Elon Musk the central point like The Simpsons did, and instead it has him be this bizarre supporting character for a plotline, and honestly, it almost kinda works.
I call it the pizza pocket.
They already have pizza pockets.
See, What they sort of did with Elon Musk was not to rely on his talent as an actor, but instead to sort of build the wooden delivery that is his raison d'etre into their portrayal of him. And that is a pretty smart move. Now, the actual basis for him being in this three-parter is that the world is reacting to Trump being president. Remember, this is back in 2016, so it's the first time that's happened. And Cartman, Heidi, and Butters are all looking to use SpaceX to get off the planet and flee to Mars, because they reckon things are about to get real bad on Earth. It's actually one of the core things that Elon Musk did seem to really want to sell us on with the whole space thing, was the idea that without expansion into other planets, we risk the chance that the human race could get wiped out by its own actions on this one. And sure, while you might look at that and think, hey, perhaps we should do a better job of making sure we don't destroy each other and annihilate the whole ecosystem that is the reason we exist. But your billionaires like to instead push the plan of, how about no to the fixing and yes to the running away from the issues that we have caused?
We have done it, Elon. With this type of energy, we can easily get mankind to Mars.
Now, while South Park does limit the amount of over-the-top glazing that it does for Elon Musk, which makes sense considering that they have not really done that for anyone else that they've had featured on the show, so it would be very weird to just start doing it now with this one guy, they do, however, not really criticize him that strongly or make as much fun of Elon Musk in a way that highlights his flaws. Instead, just kind of making him into this quirky and memey guy, sort of like a parody of Elon that you kind of would expect the ego of Elon to be able to take. It does make a little bit of sense after all. To actually get Elon to voice it means that you have to be able to have him sign off on whatever he's going to be saying or getting said to him, and so it does of course just turn into a little bit more advertisement space for the for the space stuff that he was starting to really move into and focus on more and more as the big step forward in both getting everyone to love him as a genius and also to hopefully creating a whole society on another planet that owed its life to him.
Looks like you're gonna have to kind of start over, huh, Elon? Maybe you should just go back to your little cars, huh?
Kind of the ultimate ego trip, being the creator of life on Mars, when you think about it. It's just a shame that it's really fucking hard to do that, and he may have in fact been lying to us on how plausible it was for him to get us onto the Red Planet. I mean, in the South Park episode Members Only, he literally says that it's going to be 8 years away before they actually get to the Red Planet, and if you do the maths on that, that would calculate to 2024, which we didn't get. Though I do know he is busy with the whole tanking X, cutting DEI woke programs like USAID, and of course doing speeches for far-right Nazi groups around the world. Why ruin Mars, I guess, when you could just ruin Earth?
The German people are sort of really an ancient nation, goes back thousands of years.
Other than that, it's not really that interesting of a cameo from Elon Musk, except for the fact that it is one of the less well-received South Park season finales, so I guess one could see this as being the curse of Elon Musk continuing. Seriously, with how many he's doing, he eventually just has to be in a good episode. Pure statistics would suggest that you can't bomb this consistently. The real interesting thing that I want us to take away from the South Park cameo, though, is that it does indeed tell us about another part of Elon Musk's identity that he really wants people to see him as. One that I think became more and more apparent after he bought Twitter and started really losing his mind in the public space.
I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know?
Because he does really want people to think that he is funny, and a jokester, and a meme lord, and super cool and relatable, like comedians. I mean, God, remember when he was brought out onto stage by Dave Chappelle?
Make some noise for the richest man in the world. Hey, wait a minute. Those of you booing.
when he took a sink into the Twitter headquarters, when he talked about his Path of Exile and Diablo success. There was a serious player in one of those game series who saw his performances. Dude is god-awful at it, and I swear he is absolutely lying out of his teeth about his ability to play them. But the lying doesn't matter. What matters is that he really wants people to believe that is true, to add it to the list of things that come up when you think of the tale of Elon Musk. He's a gamer, a genius, a tech meister. That's his vibe. And being in South Park, the pinnacle for edgy teenagers and the cringe men those edgy teenagers grow up to become, is a big tick in the box for him. It also provides a defense of, oh no, look, I let South Park make fun of me, I let them have a couple of jabs and jokes at my expense, though not too expensive of course, but see, I can take a joke, I'm okay with them.
She's really smart and really funny.
And that notion actually perfectly brings us to our next Elon Musk cameo. Or at least it would if the Rick and Morty episode he was in came next, but before we can get to that appearance that exemplifies further what I'm talking about here with South Park, we do have to make a very brief pit stop in 2017 first, when he reprised his appearance in Big Bang Theory by also appearing in the sequel Young Sheldon.
This fall, Sheldon Cooper's going to high school. I've always loved trains.
Now, you might be thinking, how the fuck does he pull that one off? Isn't Young Sheldon like decades in the past, when Elon Musk would be a child himself? And the way he does it is thanks to the existence of a flash forward. Much like The Simpsons just dropping Elon Musk onto the main character's yard to start things going, Young Sheldon does a flash forward just so they can justify getting Elon Musk into the show. And honestly, Young Sheldon is another big pull for his PR team, despite the fact that I actually don't know anyone who has seen it, but it was still incredibly popular and went on for 7 seasons, being so well liked that it even led to a spin-off series of the spin-off series called Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage.
It's crazy.
Got the baby down.
Yeah, we are clearly in media hell, and everything just confirms that. Regardless, the episode is a patch, a modem, and a Zantac, and it stands out for one major goddamn reason to us here. It is the first Elon Musk cameo to be in an episode or film that was well received. This episode got decent reviews all round and was praised as creating the supportive family environment that, from what I've heard, is the things that fans of the show came to love about it. I would not personally know, but great win for Elon Musk to finally get into something that people did seem to like. It only took 7 years to pull it off. Regardless of that though, the actual cameo itself is in a tiny bit at the end, using a CNN clip about Elon Musk's SpaceX success to then lead into Elon Musk at the headquarters, looking at Sheldon's old journal of space-related things before hiding it in a drawer while acting odd about it.
Elon, the CNN reporter's here to talk to you.
Hang on.
The implication here being that Elon Musk stole Sheldon's ideas and was using that to boost his own success, claiming the output of a literal child as his own to boost his profile. And this actually kind of represents a bit of a tipping point, perhaps inspired by that South Park stuff. The moment when Elon Musk's PR team realized that the overt glazing was perhaps a bit much from the previous cameos, and that leaning into a light mockery of Elon Musk was a better way of making it seem natural, especially as it allowed him to play up his greatest strength as an actor, appearing awkward as fuck.
Send him in.
It's like Keanu Reeves. You don't fight what you're good at, you make it the dominant thing that you do. Elon can't appear approachable and relatable, but he can appear like he looks like a liar. And it's funny in retrospect to consider this scene, and how the Elon Musk we see here, this intentionally parody of the man, is really close to the reality of the guy. He did steal ideas from people, and take credit for their achievements to boost his own ego. He totally would have, in fact, robbed a young Sheldon and kept it a secret. From that small diversion, though, we move back to a larger cameo, and one that follows the South Park trend. His decent-sized cameo in Rick and Morty's One Crew Over the Cuckoo's Morty in 2019. God-awful title.
Rick Sanchez, you son of a bitch! Need some people for a thing.
At this point, we are rapidly getting closer and closer to the singularity of Elon Musk's ego and actions catching up to his public image. But we're still not quite there just yet. In fact, this appearance is right before the big one that honestly sort of started this whole downfall. The moment where he called cave diver Vernon Unsworth a pedo guy because the dude ridiculed Elon Musk's ridiculous submarine plan to rescue those kids trapped in Thailand, a thing that led him to a defamation trial in LA.
In a now deleted tweet, the Tesla founder described Vern Unsworth as a pedo guy.
Sure, he already has one stock manipulation fine under his belt from the Tesla 420 tweet, but we haven't even hit the 2020 Tesla stock price too high tweet, or the should I sell my Tesla stock tweet in 2021.
Tweeting that he's considering taking Tesla private at $420.
And ultimately, we are still 3 years out from Elon Musk actually buying Twitter. A few years out from Elon Musk forcing his workers to ignore COVID quarantining, from lying about COVID-19 and downplaying its deadliness and railing against vaccine mandates.
The mortality rate is much less than what say the World Health Organization said it was. At least a factor of 10, maybe a factor of 50 lower than initially thought.
And of course, a lot of years away from him openly joining the Donald Trump administration with Doge.
It's into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
It is a rapid downfall from here, don't get me wrong. But I just want everyone to be aware that we are seeing in this 2019's Rick and Morty episode the final years of the Elon Musk cameo empire. And, as one can only come to expect from the reliability of the man's appearances, it is categorized by a lot of the things we have seen emphasized over and over again. Except with that one major distinction learned from the South Park experience.
Yeah, that was little weird. It's exactly that kind of shit that made us worry about regular Elon.
See, Rick and Morty go and grab Elon Musk for a heist, because they're putting together a randomly selected team, and they justify grabbing Elon Musk and not Elon Musk, because Rick doesn't want to deal with the controlling nature of his dimension's version of the man, something which the show plays into and has Elon Musk comment on through theorizing that having tusks has made him a more aware individual, and developed a better connection to his self-esteem, so that he doesn't feel like he needs to have control so strongly.
It's my self-esteem and incentivized collaboration.
Yeah, or you're less sure of yourself because you have monster teeth.
That is somewhat undercut as a theory before we even get to the joke of Elon Musk having the characters move slightly over in frame for no reason, by the fact that Tesla in this world is called Tuskler, and he is making Tuskler cars.
Guys, you're doing a great job getting these new Teslas out the door.
Musk has not yet, in our dimension, named a company just straight up after himself, seeming in fact to be a little bit more obsessed with the letter X and also stupid meme names than his own name, but Elon Musk also is shown to engage in subtle digs at Rick that Rick calls out, randomly talks to the characters with no regard for urgency, all of these things that emphasize character flaws.
I'm gonna play Minecraft.
Oh, my kids play that.
I don't like these little jabs you get in, Elon.
There is very little in this episode in the way of overt glazing and fan-personing out over Elon Musk, which makes a bit of sense because I don't see why Rick would do that when he doesn't consider anybody to be on his intellectual level. But I also think that this is probably part of Elon wanting to be on Rick and Morty, and so being more willing to let them have control over his characterization just so he can be on there, rather than it being a big pull for them and a propaganda situation. Because the very act of being on Rick and Morty gives him an in with the straight white male gamer crowd that he loves to pander to and desperately wants the approval of, as we can see from every attempt at bragging he's ever made.
Are you in the top 20 in the world or
Yeah.
top 20? Wow, in Diablo.
Yeah. Well, it actually listed me with my actual name in the list.
What I am saying is that there is a subtle cringiness to this, of him wanting to be on Rick and Morty so badly, just so he can talk about being on the show, and acting like it makes him cool to have that on his repertoire. Like, you can imagine him bringing it up at parties, or mentioning it in interviews, or dropping it for fans.
Hi, Felix. Hey, Felix. Yeah, we're gonna look at some memes, right?
Yeah.
Despite that, it still does feature the same awful fucking acting that just does not seem to be going away, and that by this point, I don't think Elon Musk can actually learn to be good at it. Like, it's been a decade and dozens of times spent public speaking and being in movies. If he can't seem natural at this point, then it's just never gonna happen, I think we have to accept. Now, before we move on to the end, I do want to quickly mention 3 things that I'm sure people are going to be confused that I didn't cover, and so I'm going to lightly cover them, and also cover why I didn't count them as cameos really, and actually fully cover them. The first are his interviews in the Mars TV show, a situation where they interlaced real talks with people from our time on the future of space travel with the futuristic story.
Creating a self-sustaining civilization on Mars would be the greatest adventure ever in human history.
I didn't really think it made sense because it wasn't a necessarily cameo. Don't get me wrong, it is still somewhat relevant for the fact that it showcases how heavily he is tied into the image of space at that time, that it felt essential to put him there and connect him to this show about the thing that he really wanted everyone to believe that he was going to do. But it wasn't a case of Elon Musk being directly in the story, so it sort of sits in a weird grey area. On that same note is the cameo in Men in Black International from 2019, which was just a very brief moment of him popping up on a screen as a celebrity alien that the organisation was keeping an eye on.
It's never who you think it is.
A cameo with not really much content to it, and a very blink and you'll miss it kind of vibe, so it doesn't feel right to place it alongside more substantial entries. Finally, there's the cyberpunk situation. If you don't know what this is, it's a wild ride, so buckle in. See, back when Cyberpunk released, there was a theory that a guy you walked past in the beginning of the Corpo V story was meant to be an Elon Musk cameo.
Dragged me in because we had to intervene. Everyone in Night City HQ was on edge.
Something which was believed to coincide with the fact that Grimes was also featured in the game, and Elon Musk would not shut up about how much he loved Cyberpunk and wanted to be in it. So it was kind of believable. Despite all of this though, CD Projekt Red never confirmed that they actually put Elon Musk in the game. And in fact, a developer for them came out later and said that it absolutely wasn't Elon Musk there, and questioned who looked at that guy and came up with this nonsense.
Yes, it can play Cyberpunk.
Seems pretty simple, case closed, nothing to it, just some random internet rumours. And then Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk came out. An insane series of nightmare stories about the dude's life that you definitely should be reading, and one of them featured Elon Musk going into the recording studios while Grimes was recording her part for the game, and demanding that he be given a cameo while holding a flintlock pistol, telling them that he is armed, but not dangerous. According to both Grimes and Musk, the developers relented and told Musk they would do it, if only probably to get him out of their fucking way in studio with a goddamn gun, but it's unclear if they ever fulfilled that or just said it to defuse the situation. Like I said, nut stuff, but it's not a real cameo necessarily, it just has a wild story behind it, and also to show how desperate he was to appear in those things that he thought people would love to see him in. But that was basically it for Musk. There's only one more actual cameo from him. SNL.
And I'm a wild card, so there's no telling what I might do.
2021.
Well, it actually started as a joke based on an internet meme.
Elon Musk / Miley Cyrus.
You all might want to sit down. What I have to say right now might be a little cringe.
And I'm sure we all remember that fateful day. The day when the culmination of every problem ever talked about with Elon Musk. His clear need for approval and love and idolization. His miserable failing at acting in any capacity. His awful level of comedy and cringe attempts at being funny / relatable. Well, all of that came to a head here in this moment. There's only one really humorous thing about his time on this episode, and that is the fact that after this moment being the host for the show, he would only ever get back on SNL again multiple fucking times by the comedians impersonating him and increasingly making fun of him for all of the stupid shit that he was doing.
In a t-shirt and jeans like a garbage person.
I mean, most of this time is just him being shit. And to play a quick example of what it all looked like, there you go.
I just misunderstood, and some of the anti-Italian hatred in this courtroom is a disgust.
Yeah, it's painful, but the one thing that actually tied into something really related to Elon Musk in any cameo sense was the Chad on Mars skit, which is based around Pete Davidson's character Chad having to go and save the colonists from the Mars habitat set up by SpaceX. Even at this point, he was still pretending like it was going to happen, still acting as if this promised eventuality was going to come about at some point. And I cannot think of a better nail in his cameo coffin than this time on SNL.
This is Elon Musk. Who? Elon Musk.
But there was still a criticism people had of this, and it is one that I definitely also agree with too. Which is that despite this not necessarily making him look good, nor him making himself look good on this, it still normalized his existence. Still whitewashed Elon Musk as just this cringy funny dude playing Wario and being all silly, at a time when he was engaging in incredibly dodgy and awful practices, both within his businesses and his steady move over towards far-right politics as the way to get the love and attention he desperately desired, at the same time as also getting a ton of money and power without any cost. Because while SNL does mark his last true cameo as anything, from this point onwards he would only really be appearing as generated things in awful AI shows that tried to get his attention by sucking up to him and his ideas.
Baby Elon? Is that you, friend?
Indeed it is, matey.
Or as legitimate parodies that mocked and criticized him for impersonation or caricature. I think Elon Musk just realized that this whole time spent over a decade of work to do PR and to cultivate this image was just completely redundant. And also that it interfered with his desire to be an awful, super rich human being. Like, yeah, a lot of these places stopped maybe wanting to have him involved because of all the stuff he was saying, and the things he was doing, and the fact that the reality of his billionaire status was colliding with the tech genius savant future of humanity image that people had bought into for quite some time for him. But why bother appealing to those people when the requirements to get them to adore you is so much higher than just attacking and mocking all of them? Dressing yourself up as a free speech warrior and aligning with a different crowd who has made it very clear that as long as you say the right few words, hate minorities and drink those liberal tears, they will love you no matter what. I mean, sure, eventually they might turn on you if the idol that they have placed higher than yourself in the hierarchy, like Donald Trump, withdraws favour, as it sort of kinda did happen a little bit with Trump and Musk's clashing egos into the administration, but it's still a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot more profitable than trying to keep those liberal elites and Democrats in your pocket. Still though, none of this changes the fact of what we have learned from this cameo journey. That regardless of how it might have ended in Elon Musk both dropping out of being in the desired spotlight that he held for so long, and choosing to not just be adulated on screen but also in real life as well, we still see through it how shallow Elon Musk really is as a person. How badly he needed people to believe this fable of his life, and what he was going to achieve for the rest of humanity.
So when you were talking to Elon Musk, did you get the sense that you were talking to like a genius? What did it feel like?
Like I'm a chimp.
Like
I'm a chimp.
He wanted to be worshipped, and his PR team worked overtime to get that done in his appearances, no matter how awful they might have been, or how poorly received what he was involved in was. But this doesn't just reveal some truths about Elon Musk as a person. It also reveals some truths about the media landscape around him, and the society that lapped up what was being put down about Musk. The warning signs of how terrible he was and would be were truly ignored in favour of holding up this two-dimensional figure, condensing him down into something that your average person would just accept as being true because they're not going to go doing all that digging into his past or the various scandals he's involved in.
In one of them, Musk goes on to write this: "What day, night will be the wildest party on your island?"
The stories that we tell and that get told to us are very powerful, even when they are supposedly fictional, because they go into the subconscious and nestle in there as truths that our very deceivable brains believe. You see Elon Musk appearing over and over again as this beloved tech wunderkind who is going to get humanity into space and is the face of your future. And you start accepting that if everyone else is saying it and believing it and putting it into shows and movies, then you should too.
You people have called you the real Tony Stark. Are you sincerely trying to save the world?
It's the exact same model that Jordan Peterson used as well, when he was the edgy professor representing the intellectual dark web and challenging the status quo with his messages that reach into the hearts of modern masculinity with deep-seated realities and truths about our lives.
Great pleasure to meet you. I'm a big fan, as you might have guessed.
Despite the fact that he was basically a kooky fundamentalist Christian with no real way of defending half the beliefs that he espoused, who had a series of theses and books that, having actually read them, are quite strained and questionable in many ways, and whose universal truths are just repackaged self-help guru shit. But he utilised the media model of adoration to advance a version of himself that all of these studios and news sites fell over themselves to reiterate, much like Elon Musk.
You know, that just barely gets you to know the surface of someone like Musk, because he's an amazing person and God only knows what's up with him.
Until eventually things took a turn, and they no longer became palatable to report on in that way. The media machine is a scary thing, and the way that it gets used is incredibly worrying. If you are being sold something about a famous person by all these TV shows and movies and news sites, my best advice to you is to question it heavily, to think about who benefits the most from that image being spread around, and whether or not there might be a whole team of people behind it making sure that you feel a certain way about their client. Obviously it fell apart with Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson, because both of them were narcissistic beyond the ability of even a PR team to moderate down and keep a lid on, but you've got to assume there are hundreds of other billionaires and celebrities who are much better at keeping their dark shit hidden and spreading a nice sanitized version of themselves. Also, watch out as well for the media rehabilitation machine too, when all of this blows over, if it does. Keep your eyes peeled for Elon Musk to appear on The Masked Singer, or to do the rounds on a bunch of shows as part of regaining control over his image in the aftermath of things falling apart once again for him and for the USA.
Is that Robert Duvall?
No, that's not Robert Duvall.
Rudy Giuliani!
And know that for the bullshit that it is. Like George W. Bush Jr., he's not rehabilitated. He's a war criminal. He's a bad dude, and we shouldn't be nice and forgive him because, oh look, he paints now and he's real sweet and everything. That's bullshit. That's a lie you're being told. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you liked it or learned something from it, and that's great if you did. If you like what I do here, a great way to show that is by going to my Patreon or my Ko-Fi, linked below, and subscribing there. The money from that goes towards paying all my bills and to keeping this channel running, and the names of those in the $5 category will be playing us out once I'm done with this little outro. A big thanks to everyone on there, and also a big thanks to everyone who watched this video, who liked, shared, subscribed, commented, went to check out my other stuff, or just did all the other YouTube things that I forget what they are exactly. There's so many at this point you need to say. It's a nightmare spiel. Anyway, regardless, huge thanks to everyone, and hope that you all have a great day.